Well, actually, this is as real as it gets.
This is Nash Gruner, the son of Olivia Gruner, and you are listening to the UCW Radio Show. In your face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio.
In your face.
Give it to me, baby.
All right, welcome to the UCW Radio Show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Whether you're listening or viewing, and as you know, we bring some great guests on the show, inspirational guests, and today is no different. We're bringing on the healthy Irishman, Gavan Murphy, and guess what? He's bringing his lovely wife, Christine, to the show, on the show right now. So I'm going to bring him on, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on. How you guys doing?
What's up, Lou? Hey, buddy.
There we go. We got the dream team in front of us.
The dream team.
Yeah. Just let me just say this, that for people that really want the background of Gavan Murphy, the healthy Irishman, what he's done during his career, just go to UCW Radio Show and you'll listen to the first show we did. This right here is the follow-up, and the follow-up usually comes a year or two later. And now we're doing some great things. And why don't you give a little snippet on how you guys, what you guys are doing now, and actually how you guys came together. I mean, I love this story though.
Let's start with the how we came together story, which is a very typical Irish story. We met in a very familiar place for someone like me, which is a public house, also known as a bar. That is where we met, and that was 15 years ago.
Wow. In
Venice Beach in California. So we were, I was in there having a couple of beers with some buddies, and my good lady wife was at the bar with some friends, and I was done talking to my two buds. That was the end of it, of the male part of the day, and I just went up and I started talking to her, and that was it.
Were you drunk, Christine? Were you drunk when he was talking to you? You were like, I don't know. Okay, I'll give you a shot.
I was on my way, but 3 hours later.
This was early. It was 7 p.m. So
oh,
yes.
Okay. She was in her right frame of mind. All right, you did good. You did good.
Well,
so you guys came together, and
yes.
See, I love I love stories that involve couples coming together as a team, and that's what you guys have done. And
yes.
What you've done right now, you're in Vegas, but what you've done in California, and then with the move, let's talk about that stuff.
Okay, so I moved to Los Angeles in 2000. You moved there in 2000 from San Diego. So I moved directly from the west coast of Ireland to Los Angeles. So as you can imagine, that was a little bit of a culture shock. However, I needed somewhere where the sun was shining, and I needed ocean. Two things that were very important to me. So I just ended up in LA. Didn't really have a plan.
You came with nothing in your pocket, no plan, no idea, nothing.
Nothing. I knew one person who was the older brother of one of my best friends, and I'd met him one time in Ireland, like years before that. Never, I didn't know him. He's 10 years older than me. So I stayed on his couch for 3 months, met some of his friends and whatnot, and then just really had to sort of figure it out. Didn't have a plan, didn't have a job. I borrowed 10 grand off my dad. Which I think I gave back to him. I'm not too sure. Maybe not. And that was it, Lou. And that was in 2000. Yeah, I know, less. But that was in 2000.
Right.
And I really, Lou, I just sort of figured it out. I just, I cooked for a living. I had trained as a chef in Ireland before that. And I started working for catering companies. Mm-hmm. And LA, is a hotspot of movie industry and music to a certain, extent. And I started working for catering companies, a lot of different companies doing events. And that's really how I sort of introduced myself to the food world.
And during that, when that was happening, did you guys meet before that or after that?
We met in what year?
2005.
2005. So I've been there for 5 years.
Okay, so you were able to build yourself up and get your act together. Okay.
I was able to figure the city out. For the first 2 years, for those of you who know Los Angeles, I didn't have a car for 2 years, the first 2 years. I couldn't afford one. So I used to take the bus everywhere, sometimes 2 and 3 buses. And then I bought a bicycle and I would cycle around the city, which in hindsight was great because I got to learn the city.
Mm-hmm.
A
little dangerous in LA.
Little bit, it was a little bit chaotic.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of like serving your time, if you will, and kind of, you know, getting your feet wet. So for me, you know, I had to earn, you know, a car. So I did, and it took me 2 years. But you know, I wouldn't change that journey because, you know, the journey is all part of it. You had to go through some of those times to understand and appreciate then the fact that I had a car. So I had, you know, I was more mobile and I could get a girlfriend.
Yeah, finally, you had to get a car to get the girl. You know, it's like in Scarface, you make the money, get the girl, and all that other stuff. So
all that stuff.
Yeah, so you built up from scratch, and that's why I always love the story because no one handed you anything. You went out and you worked hard for everything you have, and then you guys came together. And when you guys came together, Christine, did you have an inkling of what you had in your hands? As far as your hubby?
Well, I knew I had somebody special because I've been with him ever since.
But special as in special, not the little yellow bus special, just special, right?
Not there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I saw somebody that had tremendous drive and just was the kindest, nicest person. And I just saw the potential of what he wanted to do. And at that point, it was just the tip of the iceberg. Everything else has just gotten more intense on what we want to do, what he wants to do. And, you know, we made a good match and we came together and just started different projects and,
Dude,
and it snowballed.
You know, we've tried a lot of different things. You know what I mean? So one of the things with Christy is, let me just point out, you know, the journey we're on now in terms of with the business and the product, and, you know, we'll get to that. When you have somebody in your corner who believes in what you're creating. Now, what I'm creating is for the family, but for all intents and purposes, this is something that I sort of, you know, thought up of and the dream and the journey. So I know where we're going. However, to have somebody in your corner who believes in you and will say, listen, I trust you. Let's go for it. And let's see what happens. That's, you know, I can't speak highly enough of Christy kind of believing in me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Because it's not easy, man. You know, she's basically handing over the keys to the journey and said, you know, I'll go as a passenger or as a partner. I mean, we're both together in it. So when you find somebody like that, and of course I didn't know that back then, dude, I mean, it's crazy because you need that. You can't do it by yourself. Anybody who says that they're self-made, there's nothing self-made about anybody. Well, you have people around you who support
you know what they say, for every self-made man, there's a woman that's pushing the envelope, that's pushing them a little
100%.
bit. You know, and
100%.
Partnerships. You know, and that's what I like about what you guys have done, because you came together and, you know, Chrissy, you had to trust him with your life. And Gavin, same thing.
A lot of trust.
Yeah, a lot of trust. And it's scary too. It's scary because you're rolling the dice and you don't know what's in front of you, but you walk by faith. And you had to walk by faith, Christy.
You have to trust. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days where you're like, what are we doing? But we believe in the end game. We believe that you have to believe. Yeah. And, you know, some days, like I said, are easier than others, but that's why if I'm having a bad day, thankfully he's usually having an up day, and that works, or vice versa. And you have to really just trust that this is part of your journey. All these little things that you're going through, you're going to be down the road and look back and be like, that's why we went through it. But when you're in the thick of it, man, it
makes no sense half the time. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. I mean, but that's when the faith comes in at those moments.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. The the grit and the motivation. Listen, my favorite saying, and I feel like I quote it every day, either to myself or others, is by Steve Jobs, when he said, "It's easier to connect the dots looking backwards than it is looking forwards." when you're in something right now and you think you're going in one direction and suddenly you take a detour and you're like, that doesn't make sense. Why is that? And you try to get back on track. You look back at that, a month, 2 months, 6 months later, and you're like, that's why that happened. That's why it didn't work out with that person or that opportunity, whatever. So you just have to go with those. And maybe because we've been in kind of on this journey for so long, when these sort of detours happen, you just have to kind of roll with it and not question it too much.
Right.
You want to question and figure out why, but then you just go, well, there's a reason for it. We'll figure out what it is, and we'll see it, eventually what it is. But hopefully, it's leading in a different direction and a better direction.
But that's hard to do sometimes when you're in the thick of something, and all you see is the cloud around you, and you have to
Correct.
You have to go and kind of go through that to grab that silver lining. It's not evident, but you have to actually have faith that it's in front of you, and it's a lot easier to do that when you have somebody strong by your side that that they're there with you. You're do or die. You're ride or die. This is the person that's there with you on the top, on the bottom. And if they're there with you at the bottom, you want them there at the top.
100%. 100%. Race car drivers are taught to drive through the smoke. So there's a crash in front of them and the whole track is covered in smoke. Their mindset is just, I'm driving through the middle of it. And that's just the way it is. And that's how they're taught. If they don't do that, they've lost their bottle, and that's not how they were trained.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's like a plane taking off. They drive, they fly through the clouds. It's going to be clear on the other side. It's eventually going to be clear. So, listen, there's a lot of analogies you can use, but the bottom line is you have to believe in something enough to have the grit to just keep going every single day, even when you get up and you've hit a wall. Either there's financial issues, or you're just having a shitty day. You just got to keep going, man, and get through it, and the next day will be better.
But it's okay to allow yourself to have these days, though. Like if you tell yourself everything's fine all the time, you don't really get to feel the down days. And I think it's really important to feel them and then move forward from them. Because we all have them.
Of course.
And you can't hide from them forever, and you can't choke it down forever, because then when it comes up, it's like a volcano.
Yeah.
So you just allow yourself to have those days. Take some time off. I get in a hot bath or whatever it is that just kind of grounds you a little bit, or read, or, do something different. Do something that's, take a break. It's okay. But, we have to learn this stuff too along the way. But
the thing is, when you're that type of person and you have a passion and a vision and you have drive to do something, when things don't go the right way, and you think to yourself, I do it myself. Should I have done it differently? You start beating yourself up.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And how do you guys deal with that? Because Gavin, I know you're that way too, and you beat yourself
100%.
up. How do you talk them off the ledge, Christy? How do you?
I've been doing what
she doesn't want to answer.
No, she'll answer. She just tells me to wake up and to snap out of it is what she does. However, I've put a lot of work, I'll be honest with you, the past number of years, and I have done a lot of self beat up, and I'm not, I'm not by any stretch unique in that.
Well, he's got the Irish Catholic guilt thing too.
That's a disaster. Yeah. So I try to fight that thing. But
you can't fight it. It's there. You're Catholic. That's what you got.
I'm in it. They're the cards, and I just got to deal with it. I'll be honest, Lou. I've been working on it. Maybe with experience, I've learned to sort of let it go sometimes and kind of step out of it. If there's something going on, I'll go out and take a walk, something. But that's just come with experience. I mean, listen, you can sit in that self beat up for endless amounts of hours, and you're just not going to get anywhere with it. But sometimes, listen, man, we make mistakes, and you just have to, try to just do it the best you can. I'm trying, and I'm work in progress in communicating better.
Yeah.
So if I'm having a shitty day and something's bothering me, I'm really, really working on trying to not sort of close off, which is my tendency to just go quiet and try to figure it out. And sometimes, listen, this could take a couple of days, and she knows something's wrong. She's like, "Can you please talk to me about it?" And then I will, and I feel like a weight's been lifted. But that comes down to what we started the show with, in believing and trusting each other.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
I
And me being comfortable in being vulnerable and being comfortable in being authentic and saying, "Listen, I'm really struggling with this. I'm sad or I'm mad or whatever it is." And she'd go, "Listen, let's just talk it out." And I always feel better after it.
But then that's the balance,
and that's vice versa, by the way.
And that's the balance, because it's not, I don't want people to think that, hey, you're a man and this is only something that men do. Women do it too, because you are trying to deal with it. You can't deal with it. And, if you have that person you trust and you can open up to them, that is what helps to relieve stuff. And then you start figuring it out. And I'm sure if you didn't have that, you would not be doing what you're doing today with Sunday Provisions. You wouldn't be doing that. You would have probably been stuck in that moment. And she brings you out of that moment.
Correct.
And that's important. See, I'm giving you props, Christy. Giving you marital props.
Listen, dealing with me is no easy fate by any stretch. I'm not an easy cat to deal with.
Well, the Irish in general aren't used to expressing themselves, right? They hold everything in and they try to deal with it themselves. Mm-hmm. They're not very open. And for me, I'm very much into communication, and I can tell you're having a bad day, but let's discuss it. And because it's true, the minute he discusses it, and usually we'll go for a walk or something so that we can walk and talk. When he discusses it, we both feel better. Like we're able to kind of work through it.
Did you physically feel that? That moment?
Yeah, no, honestly, I feel like a weight's been lifted, and I'll sleep better that night, and I'll wake up the next day with a little pep in my step.
Yeah.
But shit, Lou, that could take me 3 days or 4 days to get to the position where I'm comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly it.
Because I know
you'll get sick. You'll get sick doing that. That's for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now look, just so people know, the viewers and the listeners, Gavan is a gym beast. He's trained with some top bodybuilders and athletes and stuff. Let's talk about that real quick. I don't want to talk about somebody in particular that we know too much, because that head gets like this and it gets bigger.
Well, it gets as big as the bicep.
But even him, he found his better half.
Oh my goodness! Come on now. For those of you who are wondering, we're talking about Mike O'Hearn, who's a good buddy of mine in Los Angeles. Mike's been in the fitness game for
a long
40
time.
years. He's 50, 51. He looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Mike and I were friends and training partners in Los Angeles for about 7, 8 years. Well, we've been friends for longer, but we've been training together for about 7, 8 years, which was amazing for me because I love training. I love working out. And for me to train, and this sort of moves into business as well, and life to a certain degree. But I try to surround myself with people who are experts in what they do, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we should all try to do that. And a lot of people get that. So Mike's been the strongest bodybuilder I've known, the strongest fitness guy. But clear, and he's 6'3" or 6'4" and 250. Mm-hmm. I'm not anywhere close to any of those.
Oh, I think he's about 280 right now, but go ahead.
280, yeah. Well, that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But my point is that, I train with him because I want to push myself. I want somebody to push me. So that's in my marriage as well. I am married to someone who's going to push me. Mm-hmm. And, and have me strive to be better, physically, emotionally, and then in business, you want to surround yourself with people who are experts in what they do, mm-hmm. As much as you can. But Mike was a great influence on me for, because he transitions from the gym into life, mm-hmm. right? And he has a great, he has a fitness empire that he's building, and his better half, Mona, the mother of his little.
She's an angel.
She's an angel.
She is. She is. I remember before they got married, before they were doing anything, and she had mentioned that to me. I said, "You sure about that?" But the thing is that you have balance, and them together, there's a balance. There's such a
Yeah,
balance
yeah,
there, and I'm happy for both of them because now they're hitting their stride as far as what they want to do in life and in business. They have a family, they have these things going on, but people that don't know Mike intimately like that, they have to understand he has a big heart. Okay, and sometimes
oh,
he
for
gives
goodness
too much
sake, I
of
mean,
himself. Yeah, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And Mona's tough, so she's like, nope.
Well, she's the business mind, and
Yeah,
she takes care of all that
sure.
sort of daily.
She's a no nonsense girl.
Yeah, she's just a straight shooter, which
Yeah.
is why she and us get on so well together because
Mhm.
it's just like this is how it is.
Yeah.
But uh, Mike is a loving guy, and
Mhm.
dogs are his life. Obviously,
Yeah.
he has a little boy now, a little baby Titan, who
Mhm.
is more jacked than me, which is
Yeah, that
upsetting.
kid got arms
Um,
and legs. I mean, he
dude, he's
came he,
like
he
9 months
came out
older.
benching 250.
Dude, he came out with a dumbbell for crying out loud. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Poor
like,
No
Mona.
like
pacifier. He's working out. Can't
how
say
come
a
there was a
word,
dumbbell in
but
there?
he's curling. But you know what?
He's
I mean,
curling.
then the reason why we're talking about them is relationships. When I see that evolution of an individual, when they have their better half, they're able to rise up. You guys came together, and you saw the better
Correct.
half, of you, and that's helping you to get together. And that's why I want to talk about Sunday Provisions because
Yeah.
this is your venture that I mean, you're doing a lot of great things there because you were a chef or are a chef on a very high level on a very high level. You did some special things with some very famous people, and now you're doing this with Sunday Provision. So let's talk about that.
Okay. So I've worked. It was probably in 2004. I was hired by a supplement company called EAS,
Hmm.
who had a fitness diet program called Body for Life.
Hmm.
So they had hired me to cook for Cindy Crawford because they wanted her to be an ambassador for this fitness eating plan, if you will. So I cooked for her for a number of months. That was sort of my transition into the fitness space in terms of a professional, capacity. So having worked for her and then for them, I did some trade shows and such. I started working, sort of transitioning into fitness. Now I was into fitness myself,
Hmm.
um, kind of through my teens. I played rugby and played some sports. However, never really sort of correlated the importance of food and fitness together until that sort of time. So I went and I studied nutrition in Santa Monica College. I did a course so I could have more of an understanding.
Hmm.
But having worked then for EAS, I started getting hired by trainers and nutritionists to work for some of their clients who might come into Los Angeles for a period of time, maybe football or sports guys in the off season, actors who needed to put on weight or lose it, whatever it was.
Hmm.
So I would start to cook their food. So that was really something that that I was very passionate about because I lived it myself. So it
Right.
wasn't like I was living my life of fast food and then cooking healthy food for other people. I was living what I was doing, and that just speaks to really
Authenticity.
to being authentic. You have to be, and this sounds cliche, but you have to be who you are.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So you can't pretend, oh, I'm a big fitness guy who cooks healthy food, but I'm going out drinking and smoking
Well,
and eating burgers every night.
you don't just talk the talk. You walk the talk. You say it and you
Yeah,
do it. You lead by
correct.
example. You're not saying do as I say. You're saying do as I do and do as I say because I do it too. And when you do
Of
that,
course.
it's a different thing. It's a different animal. It's like it's like a coach that is pretty heavy and everything that's showing someone how to do something. But then you tell me what to do, but are you doing the same thing? So it's a little
Yeah.
difficult to have that full faith that they're doing what you're doing. They may know what they're
It's easy
talking
to,
about, but it's just a different thing.
it's easy to be a coach,
Sure.
and just tell someone what to do. But I want to hire someone or work with a trainer in the gym who I see is taking care of themselves as
Hmm.
opposed to just telling me to do 5 more reps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why when I was working out with Mike has been doing the do for 40
Oh,
years.
no question.
So I'm not questioning if he's telling me to do an exercise this way and he says just do 6 reps. I don't question that. Why would I question that?
Hmm.
So of course I'm going to do that. So similarly, when I was starting to be hired and working in the fitness space or the fitness industry, that gave me a stamp of approval, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
that I was doing correctly what I believed I was doing correctly, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? That I was cooking food a certain way, and it aligned with what people were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't cook the frou-frou stuff. I've done it. I've trained in the restaurants and the hotels. I cook for clients the way I eat,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there are people who were similar to me who want to eat clean, healthy food. My wife would disagree because I eat very, very boring food here in the house. I eat the same stuff all the time, but that's just functional for me. Do you know what I mean?
Makes it easier. No decision. Just do it.
It's just rice, meat, veggies.
Yeah, but then I'm on dinner duty.
Yeah, well, that happens sometimes. You got to balance with the marriage. Yeah,
It's about balance.
Yeah, it's about.
I get the. It must be nice to be married to a chef all the time. I'm like.
Yeah,
I did cook last week.
Little do they know, but the thing
I did
is,
cook last week.
When you're doing something, like say you're a mechanic, you're always working on cars. You come home and you don't want to work on a car, So you're a chef. You don't want to cook, So
I'm a
that
mechanic.
type of thing. So you are the mechanic. There you go.
I'm a kitchen mechanic. Yeah.
There you go. So let's grab some of your Sunday provisions, and I want to talk about that.
So let me
show the people what you got.
So this was a product that I was making. So it wasn't a product initially. So I was cooking for some clients. This is a pecan butter.
Mm-hmm.
3 ingredients. So our company is Sunday Provisions.
Okay.
So right there. So we have 4 flavors. I'll let Vanna White here show you the rest. So I had been hired by a nutritionist in New York to cook for a couple of guys who were actors in Los Angeles on a very prominent TV show. He had hired me to cook all of their foods. I was cooking all of their meals, dropping it off to their house. This is how this came about. They'd asked me to make some snacks. No almonds, no peanuts. So I was in Whole Foods one day. It's a true story. I saw a bag of pecans and I made a pecan butter, and I was making for them for months. But I was making it the way I wanted to make it. So it tasted good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the pecans are full of nutrients, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals. So I knew that nutritionally it was a fantastic product. And flavor-wise, it was great. And they were underutilized because now it's holiday season. Mm-hmm. Everything is pecan everywhere for the next 2 months. So literally, that's how I was doing it. And I started looking around the stores and saw there was nothing out there with just a pecan butter. Mm-hmm. So we said, let's create a product and let's see what happens. So we did. So my then business partner, the company was called Beardy Boys back then, because my then business partner, we didn't really create a food product. We were just creating a product. It just happened to be a pecan butter.
Right.
And we built a website, and I walked into a store called Air One in Los Angeles, a very prominent high-end grocery store. And I had 3 flavors back then. I walked in, met the manager, 3 jars, 3 spoons. I said, taste this. And he tasted it and said, it's great. I said, let's go over to the shelf. Of course, I had done my research. I knew they didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. I said, I'll take that shelf. How many cases do you want? He said, I'll take 6. And I'm like, I don't know how to make 6 cases.
Oh, you didn't have 6 cases?
I don't know how to make 6 cases. I had 3 jars. I said, I don't know how to make 6 cases. He said, it's a true story, though. He says, do you have a UPC code? And I says, I don't know what a UPC code is, but I'll figure it out.
There you go.
It's the barcode.
Yep.
But that's how you figure it out. But because I speak with so much passion, and because I had created food as opposed to creating a product, there's a difference. I didn't create a product. I created something delicious, nutritious that I would eat, that I would feed my wife, that I would feed my son, and that I would feed other people. That was the distinction. And we've been in business now for 4 years. We have a number of, we have about 30 something retailers, smaller retailers, but the majority of our business is through our website, direct to consumer. We're running a huge Facebook ad campaign right now to sort of drive sales that way, because in the past couple of months, consumer buying habits have changed. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are using Instacart and these sort of companies to do their shopping for them. So it's more competitive now on the shelf. Mm-hmm. But, one of the things I did through this whole pandemic was I was able to get us into Whole Foods. Nice. And that really just came about similar to how I got us into Air One. I got the name of someone who was in Whole Foods from somebody I never met, someone I had established a relationship. Christy created a sales pitch.
Look at you creating sales pitches. Check her out.
Completely on the fly. We put pictures of the product, talked about the nutritionals, what it was. I cold emailed this lady. Didn't know where she was, and she emailed me straight back, and it turned out she is the head of the local global initiative for Whole Foods in Austin, Texas, in their head office. So basically, I hit the jackpot. And long story short, put me in touch with the local buyers here in SOPAC, SOPAC is Southern California, Nevada. And I got us into Whole Foods here local to start us off, just to have a kind of a footprint in the community, which is, was pretty amazing. And now we're just building the business, getting the brand out there, speaking about it, talking about, really just talking about our passion, Lou. Half the time I'm not really selling. I'm just telling the story of how I created it and what it means to us. And hopefully you like it.
It's also so different now because with the grocery stores, you could go in, you could do tastings, people could taste it. And the minute they taste it, they're like, I'm in.
But that's all gone now.
It's all changed. It's all.
And that's why, platforms.
You have to pivot.
Yeah, you have to pivot. And that's why, platforms like Vero Hive and avenues like this allow you to go and reach the public differently.
Correct. It allows you to tell your story.
Sure. And
hopefully people can sort of, yeah, of course it is. That's why, the platform you've created with Vero Hive is so much more important now, because for someone like me who's just trying to connect with people, because I can't do it in the stores. I was doing a lot of demos back in LA when we lived there, and I loved it because I could talk about who I am, how it, how I came up with it, my background, what the product is. But I can't do that anymore. So I need a platform like Vero Hive to be able to talk about it and connect with consumers. Yeah. That's why when we had to pivot, we still have a retail presence, but we really had to pivot fast and go more D2C, direct to consumer, because otherwise you're just going to get swallowed up.
But now why don't we have a tasting? We could do a tasting with Vero.
Oh, hey, you know what? Who knows? Maybe at some point we'll figure that out too. Who knows?
Yes.
Well, we could send you some product and we could do a live tasting, or invite some people and do a live tasting on Vero Hive of the product.
I think that would be a good idea, to go and get a panel of people. And this
Correct.
is what we're going to do. You viewers, you're hearing this now. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go at some point. We're going to have a panel of people. They're going to have the product, and we're going to do a live tasting. And it's not going to be coerced. There's no acting, just bringing them in the room and basically talking about it, and let them go and decide and what they feel about it. And then they can go. And then you're talking about something real. And look, with Sunday Provisions being in Whole Foods, the good thing is that that's automatically on Amazon, right? So your audience just opens up.
Well, yeah, we have to onboard into Amazon, but yes, it certainly opens up the door for it, because obviously, they're the same company. But listen, for me, I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. And if now the way to do that is virtually, then then that's great. I just have to do more of it, because I just missed that sort of interaction when I was able to demo the product. And, it wasn't even about selling it. It was really just about talking about it, and just people being interested in why you did it and how did you start it, especially now, because, people are missing that. And people need to have that connection. So if we got to do it virtually, I'll do whatever we have to do.
Yeah, and it's virtually. The thing, this is what I see, and this is in the future. I see this, and you viewers and listeners, mark my words, you're going to see a Sunday Provision show where Gavan and Christy are going to come at you, and they're going to come at you, and they're going to have people in the room. They're going to have interaction with the people that enjoy the product, bring them on, and they're going to have live chats. They're going to have a lot of things going on, and it's going to happen on Vero Hive. I'm making this prediction right now. Hive. There you go.
Are you? Okay,
I like it.
He's like,
we're in.
We're in, because the more we can sort of talk to each other, and even though we're not in the same room, it feels like we're having a more a more connected conversation.
It's more intimate than a lot of social media has become so antisocial. Okay, you can go on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all this stuff. The problem with that is that Facebook is so huge that
Yeah.
you can't really connect with anyone. You know, like you go post something, who's going to see it? You don't know. Or you don't
Yeah.
have the audience, the attention of the audience because there's so much clutter. Something like this, we got your attention, and the listeners and viewers of the UCW radio show, they know this, that you're listening to this because there's a story behind it, there's inspiration, there's something there that interests you. And having a Sunday Provision show is going to be interesting because if you're talking about what you're doing and how the different things you can make and all these different recipes and stuff like that, people like seeing that. And I think
Yeah.
that would be killer. Okay, and keeping people connected and having the ability to chat in real time too is pretty cool. So
It's amazing. It's amazing. And of course, the fact that you can record it and you can send it to other, you can send it to anybody.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So again, if somebody can't be there at that moment, they're still connected because they're able to, they're able to view it later.
yeah. We can't tell Mike about this because he's gonna want in. We gotta just keep him with on his path. Keep him in the gym. And that's it.
Listen, he doesn't know how to turn on a computer. He's good. He doesn't want to turn on the computer and press start.
I know. I saw that little his little he did a commercial actually. I say we keep talking about him. He did a commercial about this. I think it was Snickers. And he was knocking on
Oh,
walls.
that
yeah.
was with our buddy Tom. Tom is a dentist, a very highly acclaimed dentist in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
So they did a little thing together. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty
super
cool.
good.
Yeah, that's Mike on the
It was
computer,
very
by the way. So he's,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, look, you just your story and everything. I mean, I love it. I've loved it from the last show we did. I love it more now because now I see you're making the teamwork is making the dream work, and you
Correct.
guys are bringing this together. And now, what I want you to do, because we're coming to the end of the show, let people know how to find out more about Sunday Provisions, your website.
Okay.
Give whatever information you can right now.
Thank you. Let me just say first, if I can, Lou, I want to thank you just because, you've been a huge supporter. And we were introduced through Mona, and you've been super gracious in helping us get the, get the name of our company out. And, we stay connected.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity because right now, as we just talked about, trying to connect with people is a little bit more challenging. But also when you have a business, and there's a lot of small businesses going out of business right now, which is, it's,
It's heartbreaking.
it's tragic because we know what the effort it takes to even commit yourself to starting a business, not to mention just kind of the daily grind. So, we want to highlight small businesses and we want to try to help other businesses as much as we can so that we can try to prosper and get through this. So I just want to thank you for giving us that opportunity.
Well, look, Gavin, you don't have to thank me, and I appreciate and I'm humbled by your kind words. I think that as people, we have to help each other. It's humanity. And you're right. So, small businesses are hurting. They're going out of business. And if we can go do something on Vero Hive to help them to keep the engine moving, because God knows that Washington is holding everything up, and it's not just one party or the other; it's both parties, and it's ridiculous. Right. So if we can add this tool to their shed, so they can go and continue to connect with people differently, then we do. And I think that small business initiative on Vero would be awesome, and I think that you'll be helping a lot of people by doing that.
Good. Christy always says, and not to speak to you, but listen, it's just human kindness right now. That's what we really need an abundance of.
Yeah.
Everybody's on edge. There's a lot of people hurting and stressed, and we have the election coming up. It's a lot of noise
going on
in the world right now. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so
our business is
Sunday.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, SundayProvisions.com. SundayProvisions.com. We have a Facebook page, Sunday Provisions. And we actually, this is a sneak peek for you. We have a new flavor coming out. Do we have one? Oh, yeah, we do. Next week, we're bringing out a pumpkin.
Oh, that's my favorite.
This is a sample size.
That's my favorite.
So I'm going to send you some of this. We have a pumpkin spice pecan butter. Literally, it's going to be on the website on Monday. Nobody knows about it. We send out these samples to all of our current customers as a little freebie. And we had such a great reaction that we're just on the fly created a product and we're going to put it out for the next couple of months, limited edition. But I'm going to send you some product.
No.
Anyway, yeah. So Facebook through our website sundayprovisions.com, and please support us. We buy our pecans direct from the farm in Texas. Maple syrup from a family farm in Maine. Only 3 ingredients in here. We have our cinnamon flavor, which is pecan, wrong way, spice. We have a coffee flavor, which is my favorite. And we have a chocolate flavor right here, pecan choco. But 3 ingredients and 4 ingredients. No preservatives, no additives. We're all about American made like yourself, supporting farmers as much as we can.
I love it.
And it's just a family business.
I love it. And you guys are doing great things. And, you have my support now and tomorrow and every tomorrow after that, because you're great. You're good people, good hearts, and you're doing something amazing. And your caring is there on every different level. Now, in closing, Christy, what are your closing words for us today? You got to have something for me.
Today. You know what? Right now I'm really big into kindness and supporting each other. So I think today, if we all did something kind to someone, and then it snowballed, if that person did something kind to someone else, I think we need to spread a little more kindness throughout.
Even for Heath?
Well, no,
well, that's a tough one, but
he's done. There's only so far you can go.
I have it in my heart.
It's not a charity, Lou.
I can try.
Now
after some wine.
We love Heath. We love Heath. No, good people. I think we all have good people around us, and that's fantastic. And I want the viewers, listeners out there, go check out SundayProvisions.com. See what Gavan and Christy are doing. They're doing some amazing things. Support small business. I implore you to do that. They need it now more than ever, and especially American companies. Support them. Great things are going on. Gavan, Christy, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and we're going to bring you back, and you're going to be doing some interesting things on Vero Hive with Sunday Provisions. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, but we're gonna have an update in another couple of years, and by that time you'll be on Joe Rogan's show, and you won't even remember me.
It's so funny you said that.
I know.
Listen.
That's on the to-do list.
Listen, the journey is the journey. We won't question it.
Well,
we won't question it.
That's it. All right, you guys enjoy. Don't leave.
Thank you, buddy. We appreciate you.
Stay with me. Listeners, viewers, thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back with you with the next episode of the UCW Radio Show.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
You're listening to UCW Radio in your face.
What is your major malfunction? So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.